Minecraft is the best-selling video game in human history with over 300 million copies sold. It has shaped a generation, inspired blocky clones, and evolved into a multi-billion-dollar franchise. Yet this global phenomenon was not created by a massive studio or backed by millions of dollars in marketing. It was built in just 6 days in a small apartment in Sweden by a single programmer working in his spare time. In an era dominated by hyper-realistic graphics and linear storytelling, a retro-styled blocky game was the ultimate counter-movement. This is the story of how Minecraft was made, dissecting the inspirations, the accidents, and the mechanical decisions that transformed a simple Java prototype into the ultimate digital sandbox. To understand its legendary success, we must travel back to the early months of 2009 when a developer named Markus Persson, known to the online world as Notch, decided to build a game about blocks. Before Minecraft, Markus Persson was a mid-level software developer working on casual web games, but in his free time, he was obsessed with creating a virtual world. In early 2009, Notch was working on a passion project called RubyDug, an isometric base building game heavily inspired by Dungeon Keeper and Roller Coaster Tycoon. It featured a blocky grid and basic construction mechanics, but Notch felt something was missing. The game was played from a distant top-down perspective, which made the world feel clinical and disconnected. Notch wanted players to feel like they were inside the world, not just looking down on it. Additionally, Notch chose to code the game in Java. Back then, Java was considered a poor choice for 3D games due to heavy performance constraints, forcing him to write highly optimized code. The breakthrough came in April 2009 when Notch discovered an obscure indie game called Infinimeter, created by developer Zach Barth. Infinimeter was a first-person multiplayer block-building game where players mined resources and built structures using cubic blocks. The game had simple, blocky graphics, but the first-person perspective changed everything. Notch realized that by putting the player directly on the ground level, the simple act of placing and breaking blocks became incredibly personal and satisfying. When Infinimeter was suddenly abandoned by its creator due to a source code leak, Notch decided to step in and fill the void left in the block-building community. He merged the first-person perspective and block destruction of Infinimeter with the aesthetic and construction mechanics of his own RubyDug prototype. On May 10, 2009, Notch began coding his new project from scratch. Working in Java, he wanted to create a simple engine that could render blocky terrain rapidly. In just 6 days, he wrote the basic code for what he called Cave Game. This early prototype was extremely crude. The world consisted of only 2 types of blocks, grass and cobblestone. To generate the landscape, Notch implemented Perlin Noise, a mathematical algorithm originally designed for CGI films, which allowed the game to generate natural-looking hills, caves, and valleys. The player simply walked around a flat, procedurally generated landscape, clicking to place blocks and right-clicking to destroy them. Despite the lack of gameplay, the basic tactile loop of block manipulation was highly addictive. Notch uploaded a video of this prototype to YouTube on May 17, 2009, under the title Cave Game Tech Test. Feedback on early game forums was highly positive, encouraging Notch to push the game further. He renamed the project Minecraft Order of the Stone, referencing a popular webcomic before simplifying it to just Minecraft. He released the early build on the TigSource forums, charging players around €10 to access the alpha version. This early funding allowed Notch to quit his day job and dedicate himself fully to the game's development. But the real turning point for Minecraft came with the introduction of survival mode, which shifted the game from a simple builder to a complex simulation of prehistoric resource management. Until then, Minecraft was a peaceful, creative sandbox. But Notch wanted to add tension and structure. He introduced a day and night cycle, health bars, inventory management, and hostile monsters that spawned in the dark. Suddenly, the game was no longer just about building. It was about survival. During the day, players rushed to gather wood and stone to craft axes and pickaxes, knowing that when the sun set, the world would become deadly. This created a perfect loop of tension and relief. It was during this phase that the game's most iconic monster was born by pure accident. Notch was attempting to code a model for a pig, but he accidentally swapped the height and length variables in the code. The result was a tall, deformed creature with 4 legs. Instead of deleting it, Notch textured it green, gave it an explosive AI, and created the Creeper. Unlike traditional game developers who kept their projects hidden until release, Notch took an open, community-driven approach. He updated Minecraft constantly, sometimes multiple times a week, adding new blocks, crafting recipes, and mobs. He shared his progress on Twitter and interacted directly with players on his personal blog and forums. The community felt like they were co-developers of the game, suggesting features and reporting bugs. This open loop created a fiercely loyal fan base. Minecraft had absolutely zero marketing budget. It spread purely through word of mouth, online forums, and early YouTube Let's Play videos. Creative content creators quickly realized that Minecraft's open-ended nature made it the perfect canvas for storytelling, exposing the game to millions of potential players who wanted to experience the adventure themselves. By 2010, the game's sales were growing exponentially. Notch founded Mojang Specifications to manage the project, hiring a small team of developers, including Jens Bergensten, who would later take over lead development. The game entered its beta phase in late 2010, introducing complex redstone mechanics, the Nether Dimension, and more advanced world generation. They also introduced the Adventure Update, which added the End Dimension, Enderman, and a hunger bar, shifting the focus towards RPG elements. The official release of Minecraft 1.0 took place at the first ever Minecon convention in Las Vegas in November 2011, marking the end of its indie development phase. As Minecraft grew into a global empire, the pressure on Markus Persson became overwhelming. He was no longer just a programmer, he was the figurehead of a massive community that scrutinized his every word and action. In 2014, feeling burnt out by the immense pressure and online criticism, Notch posted a tweet asking if anyone wanted to buy his share of Mojang. Microsoft answered the call, purchasing Mojang and the Minecraft intellectual property for $5 billion. Notch left the company, retiring from game development, while Microsoft took the reins to expand the game. Under Microsoft's management, Minecraft expanded onto every major console, mobile devices, and even classrooms, becoming an educational tool used worldwide to teach children coding and architecture. This massive expansion ensured the game's long-term survival for decades to come. In the end, Minecraft succeeded because it was not designed as a game with a strict path, but as a platform for human expression. It combined the simplicity of Lego blocks with the infinite scale of computer generation, letting players write their own stories. Markus Persson did not just program a game, he unlocked a new medium of digital creativity. By focusing on a simple, satisfying core loop and letting the players control the world, he created a timeless masterpiece that continues to inspire millions of builders around the globe. And that is exactly how history was made in the game.